Florida is experiencing a housing crash in 2025, driven by high interest rates and soaring insurance costs. Our housing market is under real pressure, especially in fast-growing cities. But Florida remains strong. People are still moving here in record numbers. We're taking action to stabilize the housing market and protect families. Florida's once unstoppable housing boom is now unraveling in shocking chaos. Cities that just 2 years ago were breaking price records are drowning in price cuts, foreclosures, and spiraling insurance bills. Home prices that soared to $400,000 in 2022 are now worth $350,000 or less, wiping out years of hard-earned equity overnight. Families are walking away from their homes, investors are bleeding cash, and entire neighborhoods are littered with for sale signs. With mortgage payments doubling since 2020 and insurance premiums exceeding $10,000 annually, the Florida dream has transformed into a haunting nightmare. This is the housing crash of 2025, a dramatic real estate crash that sees 10 cities plunging into freefall, a housing market prediction many hoped would never come true. Prepare to witness a real estate market update, unlike any other, as we count down the cities experiencing the most severe downturns in this unprecedented housing bubble burst. Number 10, Ocala. Ocala, often celebrated as the horse capital of the world, is now galloping straight into one of the most shocking housing reversals Florida has seen in decades. On the surface, this metro of around 375,000 residents once looked like a booming paradise, attracting retirees and investors, with its affordable land, equestrian culture, and steady growth. But in 2025, the housing market has turned cold. The median home price in Ocala, which skyrocketed from approximately $185,000 in 2019 to over $310,000 by late 2022, is now slipping back to around $270,000. This represents a staggering 13% drop in less than 2 years. Sellers are slashing prices at a rate not seen since the post-2008 crisis, with nearly 1 in 3 listings undergoing reductions just to capture hesitant buyers. The culprits behind this dramatic housing market update are painfully clear. Mortgage rates hovering near 7% have crushed affordability. Average monthly payments on a median-priced Ocala home jumped from about $1,200 in 2021 to nearly $2,000 today. Add soaring insurance premiums, often above $4,500 annually in Marion County, plus property taxes averaging close to 1.1%. And suddenly, living in what was once affordable Ocala no longer feels affordable at all. Inventory has spiked dramatically, climbing by nearly 40% year over year, leaving sellers desperate and buyers cautious. What's even more alarming is Ocala's reliance on retirees and second home buyers. With Social Security stretched and inflation eroding, fixed incomes demand from this crucial demographic has plummeted. Builders who once rushed to fill the area with new subdivisions are now sitting on unfinished projects and unsold units. For many families, Ocala has transformed from a dream relocation spot into a financial trap. If this downward spiral continues, experts warn the city could face a prolonged housing stagnation, eerily reminiscent of Florida's darkest housing busts of the past. Number 9, Lakeland. Lakeland, strategically positioned between Tampa and Orlando, was once marketed as the sweet spot for commuters and retirees alike. But in 2025, the housing market here is unraveling at an alarming pace. During the pandemic housing boom, Lakeland's median home price surged from just $190,000 in 2019 to nearly $310,000 by 2022, marking one of the fastest climbs in the state. Today, however, home prices are tumbling, slipping back toward $270,000, a decline of about 13% in less than 3 years. Even worse, nearly 35% of listings are undergoing price reductions, a clear sign of desperation among sellers. The financial strain is unmistakable. A buyer purchasing the median home today faces monthly mortgage payments of roughly $1,950 compared to only $1,100 back in 2020. Property insurance has ballooned as well, with many Lakeland households paying between $5,000 and $7,000, annually erasing much of the affordability advantage that once attracted families. Property taxes average close to 1.2%, piling on another burden. Inventory is flooding the real estate market, rising nearly 42% year over year as sellers rush to exit before home prices sink even further. Lakeland's downturn is amplified by its reliance on commuter traffic. With rising gas costs and remote work reshaping the workforce, many buyers no longer see the appeal of driving 40 miles each way to Tampa or Orlando. The once bustling growth corridor is now littered with for-sale signs and abandoned new builds, evidence of a real estate market choking on oversupply. Investors who banked on constant population inflows are pulling out, leaving behind a trail of empty homes. Unless stabilization occurs, Lakeland risks becoming one of the state's most dramatic housing cautionary tales. Number 8. Deltona. Deltona, a sprawling bedroom community near Daytona Beach, is witnessing a dramatic collapse that feels ripped from the housing crash playbook. Known for its inexpensive subdivisions, Deltona once attracted first-time buyers priced out of Orlando. But that affordability advantage has now evaporated. The median home price, which peaked around $300,000 in 2022, has slipped toward $260,000, a decline of more than 12%. And the drop is accelerating. Nearly 34% of sellers have cut prices, while average days on market have doubled from 25 to over 55 days in just 1 year. The affordability crisis here is brutal. A typical mortgage on a Deltona home has jumped from $1,100 in 2020 to nearly $1,900 in 2025, thanks to elevated rates and inflated insurance premiums, often topping $4,800 annually. With wages in Volusia County averaging only $52,000 per household, many locals are simply priced out. This mismatch has pushed inventory up by nearly 45% year over year, flooding the housing market with desperate listings. Unlike coastal hubs, Deltona doesn't have a tourism-driven economy to prop it up. Instead, it's heavily dependent on commuters driving to Orlando. As remote work cuts commuter demand and insurance bills climb, Deltona's appeal is fading fast. Investors who scooped up homes for rentals during the pandemic are now retreating, many losing between $400 and $800 monthly due to falling rents and rising costs. With entire neighborhoods lined with for sale signs, Deltona's real estate crash feels both shocking and eerily familiar, proving that even affordable cities can buckle under the weight of unsustainable growth. Number 7. Palm Bay. Palm Bay, the largest city in Brevard County, is enduring one of the most severe housing corrections in Florida. During the pandemic frenzy, Palm Bay's median home price skyrocketed from around $200,000 in 2019 to nearly $330,000 by late 2022. In 2025, reality has struck hard. Home values have dropped back to about $280,000, a crushing 15% decline that is leaving homeowners underwater. Nearly 36% of listings are cutting prices, while foreclosures, once rare, are beginning to creep back into the real estate market. The financial squeeze is suffocating. A median home purchased at today's values costs around $2,050 per month in mortgage payments, compared to barely $1,100 just 4 years ago. Add to that soaring insurance premiums, often exceeding $6,000 annually, near Florida's storm-prone Space Coast. Property taxes average about 1.1%, layering on another $3,000 or more yearly. The most shocking reality, Palm Bay was hailed as one of Florida's fastest-growing hidden gems just a few years ago. Today, it's becoming a case study in how quickly inflated real estate markets unravel. With high costs, weak demand, and overbuilding, Palm Bay's freefall may only be beginning. Number 6. Northport. Northport, nestled in Sarasota County, was once the darling of Florida's real estate boom. Between 2019 and 2022, median home prices catapulted from $220,000 to nearly $390,000, one of the steepest jumps statewide. But in 2025, this growth has collapsed into a full-blown housing market correction. Home prices have already slipped back to around $335,000, a 14% decline, and nearly 39% of listings now show price cuts. Sellers who once held out for bidding wars are now chopping tens of thousands off, asking prices just to draw a single offer. The affordability crisis is devastating. A typical Northport buyer in 2020 paid about $1,200 per month for a median home. Today, that same house costs closer to $2,250 monthly, driven by 7% mortgage rates and insurance premiums averaging $6,500 annually. Inventory has surged by 48% year over year, creating a glut of unsold homes across sprawling subdivisions. Builders are stuck with oversupply, and some developments have slowed construction entirely. What's more alarming is the vulnerability of Northport's population. Many retirees and fixed-income households are buckling under insurance spikes and tax burdens, averaging 1.2%, forcing some to sell at losses. Northport, once marketed as a hidden paradise, has quickly become ground zero for Florida's housing instability. If trends continue, this real estate market could mirror Cape Coral's infamous crash in 2008, with values tumbling even further before finding a bottom. Number 5. Jacksonville. Jacksonville, Florida's largest city by landmass, is reeling from a stunning reversal in housing fortunes. After exploding from $210,000 in 2019 to nearly $340,000 by 2022, median home prices have now dipped back toward $295,000, marking a 13% decline in just a few years. Nearly 36% of active listings are slashing prices, a shocking turn for a city once heralded as a growth engine of the state. Mortgage burdens are crushing buyers. Monthly payments on a median-priced home have leapt from $1,150 in 2020 to over $2,000 in 2025, fueled by 7% mortgage rates and rising insurance premiums, which commonly range from $5,000 to $7,500 annually near the coast. Duval County's property taxes hovering around 1.1% pile on another, $3,200 yearly, making Jacksonville far less affordable than its reputation suggests. Inventory has swelled by 43% year over year, and homes now linger on the market for an average of 60-plus days, more than double the turnaround seen during the peak. Jacksonville's economy, while diverse, still struggles with pockets of low wages. Median household income sits near $63,000, making homeownership increasingly unattainable for locals. The city that once attracted thousands of new residents each year with affordability and opportunity now feels like a housing trap. The combination of weak wage growth, ballooning ownership costs, and overbuilding is turning Jacksonville into one of the most surprising losers of Florida's 2025 housing downturn. Number 4. Orlando. Orlando, long synonymous with tourism and booming growth, is now facing a housing correction that has left both locals and investors reeling. From 2019 to 2022, Orlando's median home price skyrocketed from $245,000 to over $375,000, fueled by speculation and immigration. In 2025, however, the city's housing bubble is deflating fast. Home prices have slipped back to around $320,000, a 15% decline, and more than 31% of listings are cutting prices. Clear evidence of a real estate market in distress. Affordability has collapsed. Mortgage payments on a typical Orlando home jumped from about $1,200 in 2020 to nearly $2,300 today, nearly doubling in just 5 years. Annual insurance premiums are staggering, often between $5,500 and $7,000, while Orange County property taxes around 1.1% add thousands more. Inventory is up nearly 40% year over year, and sellers are offering steep concessions from closing cost coverage to $20,000 price reductions just to spark interest. Many are selling off properties at steep losses, adding to the inventory glut. Orlando was once the poster child of Florida's unstoppable growth narrative. Today, it's a sobering warning that when wages lag, costs soar, and overbuilding meets economic uncertainty, even America's tourist capital can stumble into a shocking housing free fall. Number 3, Winter Haven. Winter Haven, known for its picturesque lakes and family-friendly reputation, has become one of Florida's most surprising housing market casualties in 2025. During the pandemic surge, the median home price jumped from $185,000 in 2019 to nearly $310,000 by mid-2022. But that boom has fizzled. Prices are now sliding back toward $265,000, a sharp 14% drop, leaving many recent buyers underwater. Nearly 33% of listings are cutting prices, while homes linger an average of 58 days on market, double what they did 2 years ago. Affordability has vanished. A typical Winter Haven buyer who once paid $1,000 per month in 2020 is now facing nearly $1,950 monthly mortgage payments at 7% rates. Insurance premiums, often between $4,800 and $6,500 annually in Polk County, are another crushing expense. Add property taxes of roughly 1.1%, and the so-called affordable lakefront lifestyle is becoming unaffordable. Inventory has ballooned nearly 44% year over year, flooding the housing market with unsold homes and slamming demand. The local job market only deepens the problem, with median household incomes hovering near $57,000. The cost of owning in Winter Haven is outpacing wages by a wide margin. Winter Haven once symbolized Florida's hidden gem status, attracting retirees and families priced out of Orlando. But now, the mix of inflated prices, high carrying costs, and weak wages is exposing the city's fragile foundation. It's a painful reminder that Florida's housing freefall is not confined to big metros. It's swallowing smaller cities too. Number 2, Tampa. Tampa, once the poster child of Florida's meteoric housing rise, has turned into one of its most shocking housing busts. Between 2019 and 2022, Tampa's median home price skyrocketed from $240,000 to nearly $410,000, fueled by out-of-state migration and investor frenzy. In 2025, home prices are down to around $365,000, a 12% decline. Nearly 37% of active listings have slashed prices, a staggering reversal from the bidding wars of just a few years ago. Mortgage payments on a median Tampa home have more than doubled since 2020, climbing from about $1,250 monthly to over $2,350 today. Insurance premiums are some of the highest in the state, often ranging from $6,000 to $9,000 annually, especially in flood-prone Hillsborough and Pinellas counties. Property taxes averaging 1.1% add another $4,000 burden yearly. Inventory has surged 41% year over year, with homes sitting on the market an average of 65 days, more than triple the turnaround during the pandemic boom. With median household income sitting around $64,000, locals simply cannot keep pace with skyrocketing costs. Tampa's dramatic reversal is a stark warning. What goes up too fast comes down just as hard. The city that once embodied Florida's housing gold rush now finds itself at the center of a painful housing market correction shaking investor confidence statewide. Number 1, Cape Coral. Cape Coral has earned the grim distinction of being ground zero for Florida's housing collapse in 2025. This once red-hot market saw home prices rocket from $230,000 in 2019 to an eye-popping $420,000 by 2022, representing one of the most dramatic surges in the United States. But now, Cape Coral is crashing harder than almost anywhere else. The median home price has plunged to around $370,000, a staggering 12% decline in just 2 years, with some neighborhoods experiencing drops as steep as 20%. Nearly 40% of listings are cutting prices, and foreclosure activity, virtually non-existent just a few years ago, is making a disturbing comeback. The financial toll is crushing. Monthly mortgage payments on a Cape Coral home have jumped from $1,200 in 2020 to over $2,400 in 2025, doubling in just 5 years. Insurance premiums are catastrophic, often topping between $8,000 and $10,000 annually due to hurricane risk. Property taxes at about 1.2% tack on another $4,500 a year, making carrying costs unbearable for many homeowners. Inventory has exploded by 50% year over year, leaving an oversaturated real estate market where sellers slash prices by tens of thousands just to stay competitive. Investors who piled into Cape Coral during the pandemic are now trapped in money-losing rentals, with rents down nearly 8% year over year, and cash flow losses ranging from $700 to $1,200 monthly. Meanwhile, locals earning a median household income of $65,000 can no longer afford to buy decimating demand. Cape Coral was once a boomtown of waterfront dreams. Today, it's a cautionary tale of overbuilding, inflated prices, and unsustainable costs. If one Florida city defines the 2025 housing crash, Cape Coral stands at the top of the list. The stories of Ocala, Lakeland, Deltona, Palm Bay, Northport, Jacksonville, Orlando, Winter Haven, Tampa, and Cape Coral paint a stark picture. Florida's once invincible housing market is now in the throes of a profound housing crash. This isn't merely a localized downturn, it's a widespread real estate crash, a brutal popping of a housing bubble that saw home prices soar to unsustainable heights. For many families and investors, Florida's dream of homeownership has become a nightmare of plunging equity, heavy mortgage payments, and soaring insurance costs. Inflated prices, high rates, and swelling inventory have collided into a housing crash. What was once a distant fear in 2025 is now reality shaking communities across the state. The path to recovery is unclear, but understanding this crisis is vital for anyone tied to Florida's future. Don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone who needs to see this vital information, and of course, hit that subscribe button to Housing Crash. We'll see you in the next video, because sometimes knowing where not to buy can be the best investment decision of all.